Welcome to Witchcast!
'Cause it's Witchcast.
I'm Emily,
I'm Kate.
and we're your co-hosts of this, the Witchcast podcast.
That's right, we're your learning, growing, ever-evolving novice witches here to explore everything under the woo-woo, esoteric, spiritual, cool, witchy umbrella.
Oh, and what an umbrella it is. It's got a little duck handle.
Yes. Oh my God, she's
An umbrella of many colors.
Yes, spots, and it's big and it helps keep you dry.
Yeah, it's really like a tent, basically. It's a giant umbrella. It's one of those umbrellas that you're like, you really have that umbrella in the city? Really?
Yes, but it also looks very cool at the same time.
And
everyone's jealous of that umbrella.
it is magically polite. It lifts up above everybody else, so you never have to actually worry about it poking you in the eye.
Right, and it folds up perfectly. It never, becomes inside out in the wind. It never does that.
Yeah.
Ever. Never breaks. And you never forget it either. It's always with you.
Yeah, it's always with you. Folks, today we're doing a story time.
Story time.
We're in a storytelling mood.
Yes. It is currently rainy here in the New York City tri-state area. And so what a time to curl up with some tea and a story.
Yeah, get cozy, baby. We're gonna tell you some stories.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear yours.
I'm excited to hear yours.
Yeah. I think it'll be fun. I don't know. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we do this.
Yeah, right. Because we think it'll be fun, and it always is. At least for us. I don't know about you guys.
At least for us.
Yeah.
Hopefully it is for you guys too.
Yeah.
Do any orders of business before we dive in?
I don't think so. Do you have any personal updates or anything? I don't know. Oh, you got a new microphone.
I was gonna say, should I tell everyone I got a new microphone?
Which, thrilled, love it.
I just want to apologize to everyone for my audio.
No
quality.
Listen, audio
varying.
Is like the weather. You know, you can't. You can try to predict it, but there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, she plays by her own rules. I've been my mic, my dear. I want to say rest in peace to my dear Yeti Blue. She's 7 years old.
Never forget.
Yeah, Matt bought her for me as the first year we started dating, 2017.
Oh yeah.
So. Yeah.
Which feels like it was yesterday in some ways, but in actuality is in fact 7 years ago.
Right. Yeah. 7 years. So yeah,
Horrifying.
That was one of the first. It was also one of the first versions of that Yeti Blue.
Yeah.
So it was time. She died. Rest in peace. And so I was trying to figure out some audio solves. And I have now found a good one. And so now I have a new microphone. And hopefully no more snafus until then.
Yeah. And you've got great pink headphones now.
I do. I'm a little gamer girl now.
Yeah. Kate looks really cool. Just imagine
I'm not going
anyway.
to tell you all what brand the microphone and the headphones are because we're not sponsored by them yet.
That's right. You got to pay for that kind of attention.
Yeah, you got to pay for those shout outs.
Yeah.
But Matt has been joking that I should start streaming Sims on Twitch or something.
Kate, you should.
I really should. I'm a really fun Sims player. I mean, this whole capitalism thing isn't really working out, so I might.
I
might just become a gamer girl.
End stage capitalism, man. Just, now is the time.
What if I just put my feet up on the desk and played Sims and then just raked in the dough? How great of a life would that be?
Yeah,
I would get thousands.
Right, because
I feel
feet alone is going to help you out, but
I know.
And you're playing The Sims? What do they call it when they make love on The Sims? Is it making whoopee?
Woohoo.
Woohoo.
They call it woohoo.
Oh, God. I saw a TikTok about that the other day, and I said, Kate would love this TikTok.
I was waiting to see what you were. There is a very popular X-rated mod called Wicked Whims, and you can have your Sims have full, very graphic, uncensored, full out animated sex.
I mean, God bless
It's
the
great.
human race, you know? Goddess, smile upon us all. That's
every time
incredible.
I play in the living room, Matt can tell by the sounds. He's like, "Are your Sims fucking right now?" He can always tell.
Oh, I'm sure they make a very distinct noise.
Always glances over when, and I'm not a pervert. It's just that like they do it autonomously. My Sims are, you know, they're like dating or married and they get the urge. I can't stop them. I'm not going to. It's just like,
I've always
quite
understood
honestly,
the fact that they can like fucking die to be like 90% of the appeal of The Sims.
yes. Oh, it is. And the funniest thing is if they're old, if they're elders and they fuck, they will die because they can't handle it and their heart gives out.
Oh no.
But they want to all the time.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Honestly, it's very sad. And also kind of fucked up that like just being an elder and having sex makes you die in The Sims. Like if you have sex twice in a row and you're an elder in The Sims, you die. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You should be able to have sex and be old.
Yeah, lots of people have sex and be old. That's one of nursing
Sex should
homes'
not
biggest problems.
Right. Exactly. Chlamydia is rampant in the nursing home.
God, it's like the koalas, but worse.
I mean, that's all I plan to do when I'm a geriatric.
Yeah, get a big bottle of lube and have at it.
Oh my gosh. My mother-in-law texted my husband, myself, and my brother-in-law. We have like a little group chat. And she was like, I just got 2 things in the mail from Medicare. Feel bad for me. I'm not at that age yet. She's like in her mid to late 60s. I was like, I don't feel
No
bad
comment.
for you.
Yeah, right.
First of all, so many people are on Medicare. Like that is not an old person thing.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing that I would let the family part of that group chat handle.
Oh yeah, no, I did not respond. Like, no offense to her, but also I am also one of those people where I will never feel bad about getting old. I cannot wait to get old. The only thing I complain about getting old is just like, wow, where's the time gone? Like that kind of thing of like,
God, I feel like I complain about
time.
getting old all the time. My
You are a
bones
cruel
are
mistress.
creaking.
Yes.
Where did the
but
time
I guess like
go?
I don't mind the idea of like being old as like a concept. Like I'm excited. I really want to be like Frankie from Grace and Frankie. Like I want to be that actress's name? Oh my god! Look
Is
how
that
old I am. Lily Tomlin.
Lily
There you go.
Oh, boy.
Gray hair down to my tits. I already don't wear a bra. Moo-moos. I just want to be full witch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Full bush, full witch.
Right.
Lots of plants. Lots of animals.
Extremely fair.
Like I can't wait till the kids are out of the house and I'm not even a mom yet. You know what I mean?
So, Kate, what's your story about today?
Anyway. Okay, yeah, let's dive into stories. Okay, so
no, I love that. I love that for you. I'm sure that that's where you're heading in life.
I think it's gonna be a great life, retiree life, great life. Lean in, boomers. It's a good time. Okay, so pivoting,
as if any of us are just gonna have enough money to retire.
Right.
Sorry.
Ooh, okay, let's pivot to the younger folks because let's talk about Texas Hold'em by Beyonce. Can we just talk about?
I mean, my God, it's
that
great.
song that has dropped. If you have been living under a rock, at the Super Bowl, I did not watch that because fuck the NFL, but that's another discussion. But Beyonce had a commercial with Verizon and she dropped 2 new songs, one of them being Texas Hold'em, the other one being 16 Carriages. Both of them are amazing. If you are new to this podcast, I am a big Beyonce fan. I'm not in the Beehive or whatever, but I just love Beyonce.
Right. It's Beyonce's America and we're all just living in it.
Oh, god damn that woman. She's so good. So Texas Hold'em's so fucking catchy. It's so good.
It's great.
And I think it brought up a lot of conversations in the like TikTok universe, in the social media sphere about Black country music. And this also happened, I think, around the time Lil Nas X came out with Old Town Road back when he first broke out. When I also love Lil Nas X. I think he's also really fucking genius. But the thing is that Black country music is actually not a new thing. And the idea of Black cowboys is actually not a new thing. So this got me down a big rabbit hole and I went into a huge kind of, big research, deep dive into Black American history this afternoon. So I'm going to give you a little background into Black American history, specifically in terms of the Black American cowboy and the migration out west, and then tell you specifically about one Black American woman in particular, Abby Fisher, who wrote the second oldest African American cookbook, which I think is inherently witchy. So there's nothing technically witchy, like in in our stereotypical way we think of witchcraft, but there's some kitchen witchery, I believe, in her cookbook. And there's folklore, there's folk tale, and like, is this not? I think
I love that. I buy it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talk so much about like what gets labeled witchcraft just being like whatever is othered by society, and in many ways,
Yes.
Black cowboys and Black country music is something that has been othered. So I think it counts.
Absolutely. So I'm going to just give you, so that's our way into my story today. So before you had Beyonce and Lil Nas X, you had Charlie Pride, who after Elvis Presley is the second best-selling artist at RCA Records and was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, is a 3-time Grammy Award winner, and named Country Music Entertainer of the Year. I was listening to his music this afternoon. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, side note, that was just a side gig. He was also a professional baseball player in the Negro American League, but that's a whole other episode.
Wow.
So let's talk about the African American cowboys. So even though I think mainstream media and mainstream kind of knowledge do not think of the American, and I'm speaking also, by the way, today really from a United States of America, American perspective. And I'm also doing this because we're still in Black History Month, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Thanks to leap year, we get one extra day. Well, of course, we should always pursue and learn more about Black American history, always. So just a little caveat there. But even though we don't think of the cowboy historically as anything other than white or Caucasian, historians actually estimate that 1 in 4 cowboys were Black.
Wow.
So yeah, it's actually a huge part of Black American culture that was kind of whitewashed and censored. And then, the way that the media and Hollywood took it over, of course, was construed as, now that's how we see it, as like the John Wayne, the Clint Eastwood, white cowboy. But just briefly about the cowboy lifestyle. So the cowboy lifestyle of its own came into, popularity in Texas, which had been cattle country since it was colonized by Spain in the 1500s. So checking into your history class. But cattle farming did not become really like the bountiful economic and cultural phenomenon that's recognized today into the late 1800s, which is where we're really going to live for most of our story today. That's when millions of cattle grazed in Texas. That's when white Americans seeking cheap land, and some of them evading debt in the United States, began moving into the Spanish territory, which would later become the Mexican territory of Texas during the first half of the 19th century. The Mexican government opposed slavery, but Americans still brought slaves with them as they settled into the frontier and established cotton farms and cattle ranches. But by 1825, slaves accounted for nearly 25% of the Texas settler population. And by 1860, 15 years after it became part of the Union, that number had risen to over 30%. I'm going to link an article. I'm going to link everything on our website, witchcastpodcast.com. But there's a really great article in the Smithsonian Magazine written by Katie Nojabadam, and I apologize if I mispronounced her last name. But she writes a really great article detailing about the history of the Black American cowboy. So when Texas joined the Confederacy in 1861, many of the white ranchers left their land to fight in the East and defend their right to own slaves, of course. But they left their enslaved cowhands to tend the herds of cattle. So in my research, I've actually found somewhere that they refer to paid cowhands as cowhands, and then as enslaved Black cowhands as cowboys. So cowboys was actually a derogatory term back then. I had so many tabs open, I couldn't go back and find that article again. So I'm sorry, I don't know exactly where that was attributed to, but I do remember specifically seeing that and being like, oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, so the word cowboy was actually seen as pejorative. In the years they referred to specifically the Black cowhands as cowboys.
Right.
But in the years following after the Civil War, the ranchers struggled to keep their cattle populations from disarray. They didn't have barbed wire back then. They didn't have their enslaved workers after the emancipation, so they actually were leaned on these newly freed black cow hands to help, work their ranches, because they had all these skills. They were seen as essential, these black cow hands. And being a cowhand, being a cowboy, offered Black people in the South like genuine self-governance now as free people. So they left the South after the failures of Reconstruction and migrated to cattle country, particularly Kansas. But there was this mass migration dubbed the Great Exodus, and the migrants were known as exodusters. And these Black pioneers were drawn west by new land laws, such as the Homestead Act of 1862, which allowed settlers to claim 160 acres of government-surveyed land as long as they improved it through cultivation. And they trained as ranch hands and drovers in their new environments. So this whole industry, the cattle industry, grew from 1860 to 1880. Railroads had not yet been proliferated. This is before John Henry, which was another folktale I dug deep into, which we don't have time to get into today. So Black cowboys participated in a great number of these drives where cattle had to be driven great distances by workers on horseback in order to be sold and processed in other states. One of the most famous Black cowboys is Nat Love, who he has an autobiography that's published, and he hung out with Billy the Kid and other famous white cowboys that we know. And they also participated in rodeos. Segregation was still, of course, a very big thing. When they went to towns, they weren't able to stay at the same hotels or eat at the same restaurants. When they performed at the rodeos, they were sometimes prevented from being able to, perform at the same rodeos. Bill Pickett was a famous Black cowboy who was a really well-established and famous rodeo performer. But when they were out in what I could research, what I could find was when they were out in the open range, there wasn't really segregation. The idea was you were all in it together, and you were mixed, and you were all expected to carry out the tasks together. You were all there for the same purpose, and it was kind of I guess pirate mentality. I don't know, you're all there for the same common goal. You all have to drive the cattle. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with cowhand speak, but everyone had a common goal. It's kind of similar, I guess, to what I hear with people in the armed services. You're all, when you're in the trenches, you're all there for a common goal. So, right. But of course, they did experience a lot of segregation and racism at different times.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit about the history of the West migration and the Black cowboy movement.
I love that.
Which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, really interesting.
So that's also from a Britannica article, which I'll also link in our website. So among all of this, there was also a lot of Black and African American women, freed women, who made enormous contributions to the advancement and culture of the West. They built towns, established charities, created schools, and developed churches, and did dangerous jobs, such as delivering the mail, which seems funny now, but that was actually really dangerous back then. They were real estate magnates, writers, celebrated chefs, investors, and trailblazers. So I found this awesome listicle from a website called Cowgirl Magazine.
Okay.
Which I love, and I encourage you all to please go onto our website and read it. I will link it. And it's called the top 10 stories of African American women of the Wild West. And I found this list super inspiring and just really, really cool to read of, again, 10 really incredible Black and African American women of the Wild West and in our history as a country. So please check it out. One in particular I want to talk about is Abby Fisher. So
yes,
Abby Fisher's cookbook, What Mrs. Fisher Knows About Old Southern Cooking, Soups, Pickles, Preserves, etc., was published in 1881 and is the second oldest known African-American cookbook, next to Melinda Russell's. But as far as I can tell, it's the oldest known cookbook of a former slave. From what I researched, Melinda was actually a free Black woman and actually was able to receive quite a high education for her time. Abby was born in 1831 in South Carolina to an enslaved African-American woman, Abby Clifton, and a white farmer. Abby Fisher was a slave and grew up in the plantation kitchens of the South. And while she was there, she honed her culinary skills and became a fantastic cook. She married a man named another slave, Alexander C. Fisher, and it seems that they lived around different states in the South, from what I could tell. But they were in Mobile, Alabama before they eventually moved west after the emancipation and the end of the Civil War, and ended up in San Francisco. I'm assuming as part of this like Great Migration West in 1877. So now she's working as a free woman in San Francisco, and her reputation as a cook and caterer put Abby in really high demand among the city's upper class. And eventually the Fishers start their own business called Mrs. Abby Fisher and Company, and then later titled it Mrs. Abby Fisher Pickle Manufacturer. So according to the census notes that we have, Alexander was labeled as a pickle and preserve manufacturer, and Abby was labeled as a cook. But the company was always in Abby's name. She was clearly the talent.
She was the brains of the operation, obviously.
Yeah, she's clearly the brains. From the same census records, it seems that they had 4 children living in the household during that 1880 census. Benjamin 16, Eliza 12, Jenny 10, and Mary 3. But we know, according to her cookbook, she had 11 children total overall.
Woo!
Yeah. So this is taken from one of the articles that I found, which I'll also, again, link in our website. One summer day in 1880, a 48-year-old Mrs. Abby Fisher took to the stage at the 15th Annual San Francisco Mechanics Institute Fair to accept 2 medals, a bronze for best pickles and sauces and a silver for best assortment of jellies and preserves. The juror later wrote that her pickles and sauces have a piquancy and flavors seldom equaled, and when once tasted, not soon forgotten. So she was already really well known locally as a culinary authority. She had taken home a diploma from the Sacramento State Fair in 1879, which was its highest award.
Wow.
And she was so revered that the Women's Co-op printing office published her extensive cookbook, like I said, titled What Mrs. Fisher Knows About Old Southern Cooking. So her recipes blended African and American cultures and represented some of the best Southern American cooking of that day. Her friends and patrons actually were the ones that insisted that she record her knowledge and experience of Southern cooking, pickling, and jelly making. So that's why she conceded to finally author this cookbook. But as slaves were not allowed to receive an education, neither her nor her husband knew how to read or write. So in her introduction of her cookbook, she opens with a preface and apology, which is so sweet. And like, I love it so much. So I was actually able to find a scanned PDF of this cookbook online, which I will also link to our website. And I would like to read just the preface for you right now. The publication of a book on my knowledge and experience of Southern cooking, pickle, and jelly making has been frequently asked of me by my lady friends and patrons in San Francisco and Oakland, and also by ladies of Sacramento during the State Fair in 1879. Not being able to read or write myself, and my husband also having been without the advantages of an education upon whom would devolve the writing of the book at my dictation, caused me to doubt whether I would be able to present a work that would give perfect satisfaction. But after due consideration, I concluded to bring forward a book of my knowledge based on an experience of upwards of 35 years in the art of cooking soups, gumbos, terrapin stews, meat stews, baked and roast meats, pastries, pies and biscuits, making jellies, pickles, sauces, ice creams and jams, preserving fruits, etc. The book will be found a complete instructor so that a child can understand it and learn the art of cooking. Respectfully, Mrs. Abby Fisher, late of Mobile, Alabama. So I just love that she had a very clear purpose in mind. It seems so down to earth, and the book itself reads like a grimoire, like a very simple, straightforward spell book in a way. It's just paragraphs, and it's so straightforward. The recipes are numbered 1 through 160, and it's just a paragraph. There's no list of ingredients.
Oh, wow.
It's not like modern cookbooks where it's here's what you do and here's what you need ahead of time. It's just do this, do this, do this. So I will read one of her recipes at the end. But little is known of Fisher's life after the publication of this cookbook. In 1984, just over 1 century after its initial appearance, a volume of the cookbook was rediscovered and put up for auction by Sotheby's in New York. Oh, I missed this. There was a fire because there was a 1906 San Francisco earthquake and fire. And that's, I think, why we lost a lot of references to Abby Fisher in her cookbook. But then that's all the references except this one copy resurfaced at Sotheby's in 1984 in New York.
Interesting.
So the cookbook was acquired by the Arthur and Elizabeth Schlesinger Library on the Harvard University campus. In 1985, Applewood Books reprinted What Mrs. Fisher Knows about old Southern cooking, soups, pickles, preserves, etc., making her recipes available to a new generation of chefs and cooks. So you can now, if you Google her, there are people, especially like modern Black American chefs who have like revamped her recipes, who try her recipes out. There are historians who've done so. There's a reprint from 1995, I believe. Like her work lives on, which is so cool. And yeah, it's such a great legacy. And so I have one final thing I want to leave you with is her final recipe at the very end of her book. Recipe 160 is called Pap for an Infant Diet. And I find this very witchy. It says, take 1 pint of flour, sift it and tie it up in a clean cloth securely tight so that no water can get into it. And put it in boiling water and let it boil steady for 2 hours. Then take it out of the water, and when it gets cold, take outside crust from it. I think it means like take the crust from the outside. Whenever you are ready to nurse or feed the child, grate 1 tablespoon of the boiled flour and stir it into a half pint of boiled milk while the milk is boiling. Sweeten the same with white sugar to taste. When the child has diarrhea, boil a 2-inch stick of cinnamon in the pap. I have given birth to 11 children and raised them all and nursed them with this diet. Is a Southern plantation preparation. And so I love that it's just like this little home chef.
It's basically like a formula mix, but just...
It is. It's like, yeah, it's like kind of medicinal, kind of, cooking. I don't know. It just like feels like very like a... give them a little bit of suet and they'll be fine.
I mean,
like it just feels...
it's definitely like not what you would see in a modern cookbook. And that's like, it's really cool.
Yeah.
That does remind our listeners that this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and not to feed your small infants anything without the, say so of a doctor, I guess.
Not necessarily listen to a recipe from the 80s
for keeping a child alive, but I think it's really interesting, and I think she's like considered one of like the godmothers of soul food broadly, or like American Black cooking, right?
Yeah, for sure for southern cooking specifically. I think it's her and like you can look at the cookbook yourself online. It's she has so much in here. It's oxtail. There's oxtail. There's sherbets. There's like roast meats. Lots of preserves. It's really, really fascinating. It's old cooking. Like it's definitely of its time. And a lot of chefs and in the 1995 reprint, a historian like kind of helped update some of these. Right. But it is fascinating, and it's so wonderful that she was able to have this legacy kind of cemented and remembered all this time.
Totally. I love that. And I'm so glad that they managed to, bring her book back in the 80s and really like give it a new life.
Yeah, it wasn't lost forever.
Yeah. Old cookbooks are really cool. You can also I've read some on like some of the like Nova Scotia has archives where you can like see old recipes and stuff like that, but I'm sure that that's true of a lot of different places.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
And it's like, it's so interesting to see the way that people cooked, but also the way people wrote about food and cooking in the past, because it's so different from like what feels like the standardized version of recipes that we see today.
It feels inherently witchy to me. It feels very much like
take one onion of Spain.
It does. It's like it is. It's a recipe. That Oh, and I forgot to mention in the preface and apology at the end, like she after that first paragraph I read, then she says like I take pleasure in referring by permission to the following of my friends, namely, and then she lists out the people who helped her write this and asked her to. Who like wrote down her dictations along with their addresses. So you can even see like where all these people lived in San Francisco and in Oakland, that helped her write down her dictations. and like loved her cooking and like told her she must write these down. I don't know. She's so great. It's like kind of what I imagine like she was like what Julia Child was for Southern cooking, like way before Julia Child even came onto the scene.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're interested in like the history of soul food, but also like African American and Black American cooking, there's a really great show which I was telling Kate about before we started recording. What it's called, The Great Soul Food Cook Off. I want to say it's on Max. I can actually. It's on Max and some other like streaming platforms.
I have Max. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I need a new show.
Great. And it's like it's all Black chefs competing, but it's really like it's a competition show, but it feels very like gentle in a lot of ways, and it really does like sort of highlight like the history of Black people and Black food in America, and I think it's a great watch, and you can learn a lot, and also everything looks delicious.
I love cooking shows so much, and I love it when they do all get along. I hate when it's like Hell's Kitchen or whatever, when everyone's mean.
Yeah, when people yell. I know. I feel that. I love like along. All the, everybody seems great, but it does stress me out.
Yeah, right. Very cool. Yeah, and it's so funny that I did this when you're our resident chef. But I love cooking. I find it so very interested,
and I'm thrilled that you brought that in.
Yes. Well, anyway, so that's broadly our story on, Black American West migration, cowboys, but mostly Abby Fisher. Yeah. That's my story today. Yay. Emily, what's your story today?
Okay, so my story is about, and now for something completely different. My story is about foxes in Japanese folklore.
Yes.
So for a little bit of background, I started looking into this because I do freelance blog writing for like a language learning company, and a few years ago, or like a year and a half ago, I don't know, it doesn't matter, recently, in the last couple of years, they had me write an article on why Japanese people answer the phone with moshi moshi, or like just what moshi moshi means, where it came from. It's a common phone greeting, just like, what does it mean? Why do people say it? And while there are a few explanations, all of which probably have some truth, I mean, usually that's kind of the way, right? The one I thought was most intriguing has to do with foxes. So today, I thought it'd be fun to talk about foxes in Japanese folklore. It's kind of a big topic, but I'm going to do my best to give you a solid overview, and then if you're into it, you can always deep dive into more specific stories and like folklore after you listen. So, the name for Japanese fox spirits is kitsune. Kitsune is also the Japanese word for fox, to be clear. The two ideas are inseparable. So kitsune fall under the umbrella of yokai, which is basically the broad term for like ghouls, spirits, demons, and other supernatural beings in Japanese. And kitsune, foxes, can go one of two ways. So if you meet a fox, it could be a sacred chill fox, or it might be a mischievous hellspawn. So you should always be nice to foxes. Okay. In all cases, be nice to them, but don't let them into your house. In all cases, foxes have sort of a magical aura. It's not exactly the same, but you can think of the association as being like black cats or crows or owls. Like we have like very specific things we think about when we think about those. So foxes have this connotation. So the sacred foxes are associated with the Shinto god Inari. Over a third of all recorded Shinto shrines across Japan are shrines to Inari. And they're the shrines that you'd see with the iconic red torii gates, the like kind of arches.
Yeah.
And if you, at those shrines, you'll often see fox statues because kitsune are Inari's companions. Inari is the god that protects rice, and while there are many possible origin stories about how they got together, they're often painted together, and one of the sort of main ones that I heard while looking this up is that foxes chase off pests that eat rice, so they help in the protection of the rice.
Gotcha.
But kitsune have another side too. They're not just nice rice protectors. They're also shapeshifters and tricksters who will go after humans for a variety of reasons, from reasonable ones like maybe you hurt one of their family members either as a fox or while they were shapeshifted into something else, or less reasonable reasons like simply wanting to use a person to get something that they want. people can be possessed by kitsune or just tormented by them. So, for example, some of the stories are like a kitsune might show up at your door pretending to be a lost and weary traveler, and you let him in to stay, and then the next morning you wake up and all your stuff is gone, and he might have shaved your head.
Oh my God.
They're very powerful illusionists, so a fox could even come to you as a pretty woman and lure you to a mansion to make love, because they can even, like, create entire locations.
Oh, dead.
And then the next morning you wake up naked in a field or a graveyard with no mansion or woman in sight. They're basically agents of chaos. They can even marry a human for love in Japanese folklore and, like, raise kids with them. And the kids might just turn out, and this is a quote from a video I watched, a little bitey.
We all know those kids.
So long and short is the idea of kitsune is really, or like of what a kitsune is, what it could mean, is fairly pervasive in Japanese culture. Even if fewer people believe as much in the superstitions and their mischief today as they did in the past, or less literally, you'll still see things like there's kitsune ramen, which so fox ramen, which features, there's like a tofu snack with a sauce that's supposed to be like a fox's favorite food. So you see it in ramen, and that's kitsune ramen. Or inari nigiri, which is like that same tofu skin preparation, but over rice, named Inari after the god who's friends with the fox. You get the idea. And as recently as the 1950s, folklorists like surveyed people across Japan and found that a large number of people still felt like they had like it happened to a friend of mine story about getting tricked by a fox.
Really?
Yeah. Today, most people interviewed by, like, for a similar survey said something similar, but placed it in the past. Like, oh yeah, well, I heard it happen to my grandparent kind of thing. Or when I was a child, maybe, like, so it's still a fairly recent superstition. And during sun showers, or when people see will-o'-the-wisps, like bog lights, the little lights that seem like they're, and then you walk towards
Yeah, we talked about will-o'-the-wisps.
Yeah. They say that kitsune are getting married. So foxes are getting married. And those are signs. So you should be nice to a fox if you can in certain circumstances. Like if you saw a fox being chased by some dogs or something, and you helped the fox out, you might get a little magical favor from them or a little gift in return. But you can't be too nice to foxes because, and this gets a little witchy, or a little extra witchy, I'd say, but it used to be that some families would be believed to be fox families or to harbor foxes, and people would it would make their homes sell at a lower price, and their daughters would have a harder time finding a husband for being a fox family, because people were afraid that the foxes would do trouble if they moved into that house, or they would make them look bad, or whatever else. So, and again, as recently as 1950, a couple who wanted to get married ended up unaliving themselves because her family was accused of being a fox family, and they were forbidden.
Yikes.
Yeah. And in 1894, someone named Lafcidio Hearn wrote, "Intermarriage with a fox-possessing family is out of the question, and many a beautiful and accomplished girl in Izumo cannot secure a husband because of the popular belief that her family harbors foxes. It affects the value of real estate in Izumo to the amount of hundreds of thousands. The land of a family supposed to have foxes cannot be sold at a fair price. People are afraid to buy it, for it is believed the foxes may ruin the new proprietor." So, with all of this in mind, you might be wondering, how do you protect yourself from fox spirits in disguise? They can be humans, they can be beautiful women, they can be weary travelers, they can be pretty much anything else they might want to be. Well, I have good news for you, because there are ways to protect yourself.
Oh, good.
They have a hard time concealing their tail, or many tails, depending on the depiction. They can, in fact, have up to 1,000 tails. And they especially have a hard time hiding their tail in reflective surfaces. So if you're not sure, maybe have a mirror around or a nice shiny pond, and you might catch a sight of their tail. They have a certain luminescence, even in the dark. They are afraid of dogs because dogs can't be fooled by them. So if you have a dog, you're all set, Kate.
Good. I'm good.
And lastly, they can't say whole words, just enough syllables to be understood, which brings us back to moshi moshi. So moshi moshi, if you don't know, is a common familiar Japanese phone greeting, derived from mosu mosu, which means to say twice. While, like I said, there are other less supernatural explanations for its use, my favorite good reason to use it is that foxes and possibly ghosts can't say it. So if you hear moshi moshi, you know you're talking to a real human. And
Oh
so you
my
respond
God.
moshi moshi, and we know that we're not foxes, and we can continue our conversation.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I did not know that.
So it came into like use in the early 1900s, and it also was. I mean, it was used by like operators and that kind of thing, which is probably really where it started to come from. But the added detail is that people believe that foxes can't say
I
it.
love that.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think back to like scary Japanese horror films that I've watched, and like, has a ghost ever said moshi moshi in like The Ring, like Ringu or something, you know, like, I
Yeah.
don't know. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Okay, so if any of this sounds a little familiar, I was going to say, or if
Oh,
you look
sorry.
up pictures and think, no, where have I seen that before? It's probably because kitsune are all over popular culture, especially in content coming out of Japan or originating from Japan. So in anime, you'd see kitsune is like Naruto is possessed by a nine-tailed fox, and in Inuyasha, there's a character who is like a fox toddler, basically. And then in video games, like Crazy Red from Animal Crossing, Luigi has Kitsune power, which pairs with Mario's Tanuki power.
Oh my
in
God,
like
yes.
Super Mario. There's the Keaton in Legend of Zelda, or the Legend of Zelda games. There's Vulpix and Ninetales from Pokemon, and Tails in Sonic, all Kitsune inspired.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
The fox hate is real. The fox hate is real.
Well, they're just sort of like magical, you know? It's like,
Right.
it's not just hate, it's like, oh, they're special, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess like I'm thinking specifically in Animal Crossing, Red is really depicted as a trickster.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so interestingly, I didn't. So Tanuki, which is like the sort of raccoon creature, like in Animal Crossing, there's like the flip side of Crazy Red is a Tanuki, and in Japanese folklore, they always go together, just like in the Mario games with Mario and Luigi. So they fight each other or they pair up. They have a lot of like similar powers and stuff like that, but Tanuki are more like gently mischievous, and they're never sacred. They're just always kind of mischievous, whereas kitsune or foxes have this whole like wide range.
I didn't know that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like I said, there is a lot to go into. If you find this interesting, there is like tons of folklore. I mean, like some of the earliest mentions that I saw anything about were like from like the year 1000, if not earlier. So it's like there's at least 1,000 years of folklore that you can dive into if you're interested. And who knew Tales from Sonic had so much going on?
Yeah. I didn't even put that. Like, I don't even think of him as a fox, really. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, with the two tails. That's like part of the kitsune lore is that they sometimes have many tails. So there's so much more to this, like I said, but that is your quick and easy overview of foxes, friend and foe. And the last thing I want to say is that one of the blogs I was reading for this, which was from Tofugu, which is a really great resource if you're interested in like learning Japanese or Japanese culture, which I ended up learning a lot of for work, but I think it's cool. But Tofugu is a great resource. But the writer mentioned that they originally put in a sentence that was like, they didn't think that foxes had infiltrated computers yet, but that they must be working on it. And then they were like, that's silly, that's superfluous. So they deleted it from the piece. And then their computer crashed and they lost every draft of it and they had to go again. So they put it back in.
Wow.
So, Kitsune.
Kitsune. Yo, we keep running into a fox in my neighborhood. I keep thinking about this fox. I need to be careful.
Yeah.
I feel like I love foxes.
Yeah, me too. They're very cool.
That's so cool. I'm just thinking now of just how much how much kitsune I've seen in Japanese media and culture and like art without even really understanding the context.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my God, this like contextualizes so many things I didn't understand.
So much.
Or I didn't realize had like cultural like associations that I was maybe supposed to get from it while watching it. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
Humans are so crazy, man. There's so much.
Yeah. This is also humans are crazy. That's true. We have a lot going on.
We go deep, man.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is just that it's also like shared folklore to a certain degree with China, so you might see that in like Chinese culture stuff too.
Oh, interesting.
Indeed.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
Nice.
I thought it was neat, and after I read that blog piece about Moshi Moshi, I had it in the back of my mind to talk about at some point. So there you go.
I love it. I love it so much. I love it. I love it. Yay!
Yay!
That's so good. Mushy mushy. No, that's great. That's like really good party banter too. I feel like if you ever don't know what to talk about, this is like a really good subject to get into at a party.
Yeah, totally. Because it's interesting, and there's so much of it, and it's like, I feel like people have some context, but not everything. Like a lot of people have heard Moshi Moshi, or they've seen things with like like foxes in them with like the multiple tails and like stuff. But anyway,
yeah. Because immediately I thought of the Nine Tails.
Yeah, right. And hey, maybe the one in your neighborhood is one of the nice ones. And you're protected by dogs anyway, so.
I know. Our 2 dogs would never let anything come close. We were walking down the hill. Like there's a hill by that leads into the park behind my house. And we saw this beautiful fox just like right at the end. And it turned and looked at me. And I saw it before anyone else, like before my dogs or my husband saw it. And I was just like, nope, we're going to turn right around. And both me and the fox were just like, no thanks. Like,
Not today.
we're like, hey, hi, okay, we're both going to go the opposite direction. We're just going to avoid a confrontation right now.
A pleasure doing business with you. Goodbye.
Yeah. Hello, goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh, and also speaking of foxes, did you know they're doing a second Zootopia movie?
No.
Apparently there's a whole Zootopia. Okay, sorry. Real quick. There's a big Zootopia land in, I think it's Disney Shanghai.
Oh.
That's crazy. One of my weird things I love to do when I'm high is watch ride videos, like attraction ride through videos.
Oh.
Have you seen these on YouTube?
No.
Where like, people just like have the camera and they'll like ride a ride and so it's like you're there.
That is so not the corner of YouTube I'm on. But I'm really intrigued to know that it's out there and somehow it's never been fed to me.
But like I'm never gonna go to like Disney Shanghai, but like they have this amazing Zootopia ride there that's so cool. It's wild and it's really cool to like go to like Tokyo Disneyland or like Disneyland Shanghai and like see like these crazy rides in other languages and like they're so advanced and like get to like ride these rides virtually and I really
and if you're high enough that's basically the same.
Yeah, and like they're pretty good quality. Anyway, long story short, apparently there's a second Zootopia movie coming out. It makes me think about it because there's a fox character in it.
Yeah, and he's a fox. And Stone Cold Fox.
Which got me telling Matt about all the furry porn that came out after that movie.
No,
not that I'm into that,
mean,
but
of course there is. Of course there is. You know,
no yucking anyone's yum, but
right?
Okay.
Yeah, I saw a thing about how Robin Hood, like the fox from the Disney movie, is like the perfect man, and then people were like, Robin Hood walked, so whatever his name is in Zootopia can run. I was like,
yes.
Oh, I'm down the rabbit hole now.
I know. Simba.
No pun intended.
Everyone, Aladdin was my sexual awakening, so I have no place to judge. Like,
yeah, been there,
cartoons,
done that. Yeah,
whatever turns. If it doesn't hurt you, if it doesn't hurt anyone.
Yeah, if it yanks your crank, go for it.
If it yanks your crank. This is a kind of a spicy episode.
It was, yeah.
Do you want to pull a card, Emily, or would you like me to pull a card?
I would be delighted to pull a card. Let me get my Druid Craft Tarot deck.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, this sounds lovely.
I feel like I just saw it. Maybe Fox took it.
Kitsune.
You want to just do my moon power or my Jane Austen one?
Do the Jane Austen one.
Okay.
Have we done that one in a while? Oh.
No, I don't think so. Jane Austen Tarot deck by Jackie Oakley.
Where did you get this? I don't feel like I remember this deck.
Oh, a friend of mine gave me this. I think we've only used it like once. It is kind of literal. Like it's definitely got actual Jane Austen characters in it. That's
fun.
Yeah, I like it. This is like it's like for divination and gameplay, so they have like Jack of Diamonds kind of thing. Like it's
That's
like
cool.
Standard cards, but then also like the Major Arcana, but in Jane Austen characters. All right, let's see what we get. The Hermit, 9 of Diamonds.
Nice. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's very cute. Let me see what the book says.
Yes.
I mean, we know the Hermit, but like, let's see how they interpret it for this specific
I will
thing.
never be sad about pulling the hermit card.
I know. I'm always like, yes, I will stay home.
Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I can't come out. I pulled the hermit.
Yeah, I pulled the hermit, so it's time for me to take care of myself. Okay, 9 of Diamonds, the hermit. Introspection. In Emma, Mr. Woodhouse focuses his energy inward to take care of his health and comfort. So,
Okay,
there we are.
there you go, Mr. Woodhouse. You know what? We should start a Jane Austen book club. We should just
Absolutely.
We should read classics again. I don't know.
Yeah,
We should read
I
Shakespeare.
saved Mansfield Park for my adult life. I was like, I should leave one Jane Austen book unread so that I will have a little treat later.
Should we do this? Should we read? I'll read Mansfield Park with you.
All right,
I
let's
have
read it.
all of them
Nice.
saved, like in my Kindle for a rainy day.
Excellent.
I mean, like I can't remember which ones I've read and which ones I haven't. So it's been too long. So
yeah, we should read that, and also we should figure out what our one Witchcast book club book of the year will be.
yes, okay. So forgetting that was not just Emily and I having a conversation, dear listeners, if you have a book we want to do before the end of our season, our 7th season that we're in. This is episode 711.
Oh.
If you want to, we want to do a book club episode before the end of our season. And if you have a book, a witchy book that you would like to nominate to be our official 7th season book club selection, please follow us on Instagram and DM us at Witchcast Podcast, or you can email us at witchcastpodcast@gmail.com. That
Yeah,
would be
totally.
great. We would love a suggestion, and we'll then announce it, and we can all read it together, and then we can discuss it together. And if we are able to, maybe bring in the author to come and discuss it with us if we're able to get a hold of the author.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, let us
Deadline is
know.
like 10 days from now, roughly speaking.
Yeah,
you know,
like
less than 2
get in
weeks.
get your nominations in quickly, and if you don't, we'll just pick one. But
Yeah.
we'd love to hear from you, our listeners, if you have any witchy books that you've been meaning to read or that you've recently read and love. We'd love to
Yeah.
get a book club.
We
episode
will
in
take your
before the-
recommendations.
We will take them. So yes, and then while you're out there following us and
yes.
sending us those recommendations, please leave us a little review, a little 5-star rating on Apple
5
Podcasts or
stars.
Spotify, wherever you get your podcast fix, wherever you're listening to us right now. Just give us a little 5
Pop a
stars.
little 5-star rating on there. Why not?
It helps others find us, and we appreciate it so much. And we send that
So true.
positive 5-star energy right back to you. 5 stars right back to you. You're
Yeah,
doing great.
you
You're
get
doing
5 stars right back.
You get 5 stars. You're
You
doing
do.
so well. Yes.
You sweet and saucy little chinchilla.
Yeah. Chinchilla. You're doing so great.
And I think that's everything, right? Did we
Yeah.
said all the things? All
I think we
right.
said all the things.
Well then, until next time.
Until next time.
Hex yeah!
'Cause it's Witchcast.